This is Curtis coming at you from Ace Bread Studios covering the NFL 2021 season. Miami Dolphins did it, guys. They did it. They pulled off their second win. Who would have thunk? It's good to see, good to feel. I'm glad it happened. You know, as much as you want to say this team quit on Brian Flores, I think it's really hard to say that and be factual. This team could have quit a number of times, especially the defense, but they never did. And to me, that says a lot. The players can take the temperature in the room much better than the media, much better than you or me. They quit on Queasy, they quit on Gase. They never quit on Sperano. Looks like they're not quitting on Flores. That says something to me. This defense came out, and you'll say, oh, the Texans, they suck. Well, last week they put 22 against the Rams, who have a very stellar defense. I mean, they lost 38-22, but they put 22 points on. So the Dolphins to go 17, to win 17-9, and to play as ferociously as they did on defense, it says a lot. Now, sad part is, you know, Tua, I was really expecting him to play this week. This is the third easiest defense for a quarterback to get their yards, to get their production. I wanted to see him, what he would look like, but he's got a fractured finger. And, you know, when I wrote for Phins News before doing this, I was very leery about drafting Tua. I liked Burrow. He was my guy. Herbert, I was nervous over his personality. And I really didn't want Tua because of the hip surgery and the numerous injuries prior to that. But once he was drafted, I said, you know, he's my quarterback. And I was just going to evaluate him and see how it went. Last year, I was very down on him until I really started studying and realized he wasn't prepared. I got to study the tape and see this kid wasn't healthy. And then I found out the stuff about Shane Gailey. So I said, let me go into this season and see how he performs and kind of just gauge him, not on his history, but on what he does going forward. And I do like the steps forward. I do believe he's got strong character. I do believe he's a warrior and a fighter. And I do believe that we're seeing more out of him than a pure bust. I believe that he's rising up in a very bad framework. But when you go over all his injuries, it's very difficult not to see a trend. March 2018, broken finger, quick surgery. October 2018, knee sprain, didn't miss a game. December 2018, high ankle sprain, tightrope surgery on his ankle. October 2019, tightrope surgery on his ankle again, the other ankle. November 2019, hip surgery. November 2020, thumb injury. That knocked him out of a game or two. I can't remember how many. And then September, I think it was one game. And then September 2021, broken ribs, which I dismissed because that was a brutal hit. I think a lot of people had broken ribs over that one. But now, October 2021, back to a broken finger. And it doesn't matter how much he grows as far as his game. If he's going to continue to get injured like this, they're going to mount and they're going to magnify. And there's no way you can depend on a quarterback. When you invest that much in a quarterback, which you plan on doing, on re-upping when his contract's up, you can't have this level of inconsistency. And it's not the kid's fault. Everybody's body's built differently. Everybody has different elasticity of their ligaments, their joints, and bone density. And I'm not saying I'm going to say this kid's injury prone. It's really hard to say he's not. So it was really a shame. You know, I think that Miami, I don't want them to go for Watson still. You know, we're talking about 3 first-round picks and 2/3. A bunch of teams are looking at him. And it's probably going to go up in value if he gets off come this next season. To me, you stick with Tua, you keep building on him. Maybe you're going to have to draft another young quarterback or find another. Look at Mike White. I liked Mike White coming out of college as a mid-round, late-round pick. Disappeared. I was like, I guess I was wrong. But look, he came out in a good system, had a good day. It's not going to always look like that. But you watched him last week before the injury, and he was still doing good. Some quarterbacks take time. But because of this injury history and the late development into it, it really is hard to bank on him. So Miami going forward, I think they need to keep going with them, but you're going to have to look elsewhere. You're going to have to bring some challenges. Hopefully, new GM, new staff, or whatever does that. And if he rises up and he stays healthy, then that's all well and good too. But the injury history is very, very concerning. So you heard Moose Johnson mention a couple times, if this team had a consistent OCs, he'd like to see what happens. Well, here, I've been talking about it. We had a good OC. He had us 6 time of possession last year, 16th in rushing attempts, 22nd in rushing attack with 3 rookie offensive linemen. He was very good for us, but he was forced out by Chris Grier. And so this is I just want to see them take the next step and say, why is he gone? Why is he gone? Why did he not know, or why wasn't he consulted when 2 was put in? But you keep hearing it. But most people will turn it over and say it's Flores' fault. But if you've been paying attention to us here, you'll know that this is not true. But I want to get into the good news. How awesome is Mike Gesicki? Can't really block too much, but this guy is truly special. When we picked him in the 2nd round, as soon as we picked him, the Patriots traded out. They wanted him. This kid is a talent. We found him. But of course, thanks to Chris Grier, he's unsigned. And my own personal belief on that is he loved Fitz. He loved Gailey. They got his career on track. What do you think he was saying behind the scenes? There was talk about players coming out, offensive players, saying that they weren't happy. But he's unsigned. But Baker's signed. And all these other, they've extended Howard. They were trying to trade Howard this week, but they wouldn't, which I kind of get. But if we had nailed Noah, we could have moved on. But another failed pick. You could say Flores was in on it. He personally trained him out or whatever. But it always comes back to the GM making a final call. That's another huge miss that wastes our opportunity. Mike Gesicki is the fire. He's got heart. He drives this offense. He's the spirit of this offense. I mean, obviously it's not doing good, but what if you put him with Sean Payton on the Saints, or you put him on Kansas City with Andy Reid? This guy would be all over the place doing great things. You take him off this offense, and you have a lot of not much, except for maybe Waddle, who if he gets a real situation, maybe he could do something. And I like Gaskin. It was good to see Gaskin get benched for the fumble, but then brought back in. You can see the fumble issue's got to be corrected, but this kid can play. But it always comes back to the offensive line. Always going to bring it back to the offensive line. The offensive line makes the NFL world go round. It brings consistency, time for your quarterback to throw, which helps the skills. The receivers catch the football, opens lanes for the running backs, buys time for defense to rest. I did videos on how critical time of possession is to a defense. Without it, they burn out, they gas out. The offensive line is the most important. It's almost more important than the coach, to tell you the truth. The offense doesn't have to be the greatest offensive line, but it's got to be at least good or capable. And we have one of the worst offensive lines I've ever seen. We don't have any tackles. Eichenberg is looking now a lot like Jackson, where he's holding and getting beat. I said that was what would happen. If you overwhelm somebody and put him in a position where he's not prepared and he's young, he's going to get overwhelmed. And that's what's happening to Eichenberg. And Jackson, I like PFF a lot, but sometimes I think certain teams they just don't even care about. Last week they wrote in their wrap-up of the game that Jackson had his best day as a tackle. Maybe they meant guard, but that's not true. All Jackson does is double with the center, or he pulls and then either holds or misses the block. He's terrible. Today, you saw him, he had a one-on-one blocking assignment. He was beat so bad, and Brissett was sacked and fumbled and almost changed the course of the game. He is terrible. Now, Eichenberg is a guard at this point. Maybe down the road, he's a right tackle. But as someone said on the comment section, he's too slow, and I think he's too weak. He doesn't have the traits. He does not have the traits to be a tackle, maybe down the road. But Sam Cosmi was taken at 51st overall. We were at 50th overall, traded up to get Eichenberg. Sam Cosmi was taken by Washington, and he's the 12th best tackle in the game at right tackle. First year. And we moved up right in front of him. Again, it goes back to Grier. Grier has been here since 2007 as this college scout, head of college scouts, and then he moved into part-time GM and full-time GM. We have never been able to get a line. We miss all the time, and it's the most critical aspect of football. As long as Grier's here, I hate to say it, I had high expectations for Marvin Allen, but I'm not feeling it. And his staff underneath him, something is terribly wrong. The most critical unit in the game, we miss year after year, over a decade and a half now. He's got to go. Oh, all roads lead back to Grier. Defense, we've done a little better. Zach Sealer, this guy's really shown himself to be something. Really, as a waiver wire pickup, very good job. Wilkins definitely is rising up. I'm still not saying he's Lawrence, who we could have had a little bit later, but still a good pick. Agba, great free agency pickup, doing awesome. Phillips, I do like the Phillips pick. He's really starting to shine. I'm starting to see more and more from this kid. Holland, very nice pick. And then Byron Jones. To me, the future cornerback is not Howard. He needs to be moved on as fast as possible in the offseason. Byron Jones, a little overpaid, but he plays. He might not make all the big plays that Howard does, but I like him a lot more. I really do. There's pieces on this defense. It's just this offensive line and offense. But it goes back to no Gailey, no Marshall, no offensive line. And all of that points to Chris Grier, who's got to go. To me, just if Ross fires him, cleans house, bring a football guy and let him make the rest of the decisions. I don't care about the rest. I want a football guy in here who tells Ross to shut up and sit down, and then he makes the rest of the decisions. Other than that, Ross is going to fail his franchise, and his franchise will continue to fail no matter who you put in there. But overall, it was good to see the win. Good to stick it to the Eagles. Next week's going to be a brutal game against the Ravens unless some miracle happens. It'll be very interesting to see that. I want to do a all-22 film study this week, but I want your comments to determine what you want me to study. Whatever you want me to study, put in the comments, and whoever thumbs up, the most thumbs up is the one that I'm going to do. And so I'll let you determine. There's a lot of stuff to really look over. It's not overt, but whatever the fans want, whatever the viewers want, whatever you guys want to see, I'll do an all-22 review. But just thumbs up the comments of, hey, I want to see the offensive line. I want to see the defensive line. I want to see this player, that player. And the top of the list is what I'll do. I'll get it out Wednesday or Tuesday or something like that. So overall, sad to see Tua really continue this injury history. I don't think it's any way we can dismiss it despite his improvements. His offensive line's terrible. Good win. Hopefully stick it more to the Eagles, and San Fran loses as well. So this is Curtis saying thank you for staying to the end. Please like, comment, subscribe. Comments mean the most. They're going to mean a lot because I'm determining what the all-22 film is going to be. But I enjoy your wisdom. I even enjoy when you tell me I'm doing something wrong. I enjoy the nice things you say and the jokes you tell. So I really appreciate those comments and subscribes and likes. Help the Google overlords, and they keep me in business. They let my sponsor know that I'm not sucking. So I appreciate that. So help me out with the subscribes and the likes. I'm going to give a shout out to our sponsor, aceperhead.com, the best online sportsbook. They want to let you know with their world-class software, you get on the action with friends, family, and coworkers. As a local bookie, they're fantastic. They're amazing sponsors. And you guys have been amazing through a very tough season. I'm going to keep on digging. Just got to keep praying that Ross gets rid of Grier. It's all about. So we got the Ravens game coming up, a quick game on Thursday. A quick turnaround. I'll do that film study, the all-22. Just whoever gets the most thumbs up is what it's going to be. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Enjoy the day. Enjoy a little victory. I know it's not the best, but it's better than losing. Catch you next time. This is Curtis saying be well.